The continent and Earth beneath are just one reality floating in the myriad of possible existence. They inhabit a singular space within the cosmos, and to gaze upon the night sky is to witness a panoply of infinite worlds bound only by imagination's limit. The world of the Witcher is but one plane, one sphere of existence in a vast multiverse, flitting lazily on its trajectory through space and time. The other spheres open to wonder but barred entry, forever out of reach. At least, that was the case until unforeseen calamity unfolded centuries ago, crashed the spheres disastrously into another, shook the world to its core, and forever altered its history. This great trauma, remembered in the annals of lore and history, but obscured by mystery, is known as the conjunction of the spheres. Imagine a sailboat bobbing across calm ocean waves. It moves unmoored, imperceptibly within a great expanse. Like the sailboat, a sphere, a plane of space and time, floats along the intangible, chaotic void of the multiverse. It preoccupies corporeal reality, but is untethered in its journey through the incomprehensible ether. An ocean contains at any given time hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of vessels, each with their own manifest and trajectory, passing harmlessly by each other. This is the state of the spheres and the multiverse in which they're contained, discrete and wildly distinct planes of existence, seldom in contact. But a great tempest emerges on the horizon, roils once calm waters into a foamy surf, and tosses ships in violence against another. In this storm, passengers fall overboard. Some are hoisted onto another unfamiliar vessel. Boat hulls crash into another with destructive force, allowing brine to inundate. Some ships are damaged. Some are destroyed entirely. When whole spheres of existence collide, calamity ensues on a multiversal level, as was evident with the conjunction of the spheres. The conjunction was a great cataclysm that struck 1500 years prior to the events expounded in the Witcher novels. Several planes, several places of time and space, all aligned with another and collided with terrifying fury. Skies rent open, the earth trembled, the very threads of reality unfurled as spheres crashed against each other. Their proximity opened gaps in the ether, created portals that bridged space and time, allowing forces and creatures to cross unimpeded from one sphere to another. Some beings were cruelly thrust from their home world, landing in foreign lands and doomed to wander forever. Others willfully fled desolation endured on a dying sphere and sojourned into the unknown to discover paradise. Others still came as conquerors, with dreams of subjugation. The chaos consumed all, but lasted briefly. The spheres continued their drift and fell out of alignment. The bridges collapsed, the portals closed, the fabric of space and time rewove its tapestry. The conjunction ended, but the spheres that survived its great tumult were forever altered, as were the creatures and races that now found themselves strangers in a strange land, unable to return to their reality. For the world and the continent, the conjunction introduced three forces that would cast the next several centuries into darkness. For untold millennia, the world knew only the natural, the tangible, existed only atop order's solid foundation. In the conjunction's aftermath, the primordial force of chaos penetrated the world and gained purchase through magic. Chaos is a malevolent and destructive force of entropy in the multiverse, eternally opposed to order in all its manifestations. The beings of the world reacted negatively to this unnatural foreign force, now plaguing all things. But some learned to harness its power. They learned to channel chaos in the form of magic, and thus became the first mages. Now, magic is pervasive, its practice common in entire schools of sorcerers and enchantresses, its potential for good and for harm well understood. But superstitious fear and innate trepidation for what it represents still surround it. All-consuming entropy, anathema to natural order. The second force left in the conjunction's wake is the introduction of monsters. Gargantuan creatures, furred and fanged, prey upon farmsteads and stalk graveyards. Spectral apparitions haunt moonlit moors, and all things stinking or slithering set traps beneath bubbling quagmires. Also known as relics of the conjunction, monsters are vile beings from other spheres trapped on the world. They didn't evolve naturally. They don't fill an ecological niche, nor do they fit the greater hierarchy of the world. They exist only for themselves, and their existence is a blight, a disgusting stain. Many monsters have bizarre features, strange adaptations and abilities that render them unparalleled predators. such as the case with vampires, ghouls, and leshen. Others were born of magic's influence, filled with unnatural bloodlust. Not all monsters represent abominable evil, but they are few and they still don't belong. Monster predation on civilized, populated regions led to decades of dark paranoia. From this grim reality, the necessity for warriors to combat monsters and safeguard others grew paramount. Thus, the itinerant witchers were born, their steel, silver, and spells unleashed on the vile creatures that stalk wildlands. The final great force left by the conjunction is arguably the most disastrous to the world's native inhabitants and the most tumultuous to its history. It is the coming of mankind. According to elven lore, humans didn't dwell in the world but rather crossed over during the conjunction of the spheres. They brought with them unbridled malice, greed, and desire for conquest they unleashed on the native population of elves, gnomes, dwarves, and other ancient races. Humans differed from the elder races in several aspects, which cast their rise as an inevitability. Though shorter lived, they produced much faster and their numbers soon swelled to unimaginable magnitudes. Humanity possessed a passion for violence and xenophobia, the impetus of which spurred them to constant conflict. They saw themselves as the superior race and set out to prove their claim. They also more wholly embraced magic's chaos and through it brought calamitous destruction upon the other races. They are a force inexorable as they march relentlessly across the known world. The conjunction, a multiversal collision of several spheres that disrupted the status quo and forever altered the world's history. In its wake, a dark age of chaos and fear reigned for centuries. Though it's been twisted by time and forgotten by all but memory, the conjunction's consequences are still felt. Its ramifications continue to alter the present, forge the future of the continent and the world beyond. Thanks so much for watching and listening to this video on the conjunction of the spheres. Now I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on the conjunction, which force was the most disastrous, as well as suggestions for future videos in the comments below. And if you're a fan of lore and storytelling, be sure to subscribe to the channel, check out the podcast or the blog, where content is uploaded frequently. I want to thank my amazing supporters over on Patreon who make all of this possible, and I couldn't do it without their fantastic support. If you'd like to become a lore luminary for access to me, a great community, written scripts, and early video drops, head to patreon.com/thelorebrarians to learn more. Until next time, go forth and explore the lore.